Very much, Shante. At last check, the South African education system was employing about 500,000 teachers, and if I'm out on these statistics, the Minister of Education will correct me on this one. Minister, thank you so much for joining us here in Dubai. You're here as an education minister, but you're an educator yourself. What do you think about the idea of celebrating teachers?
No, that's why we do it big time at home. If we can see our teachers' awards, they confirm that we also agree with the spirit, with the narrative here that there's no system that could be better than its teachers, and therefore you have to put your teachers at the center and do whatever it takes to support them, celebrate them, but also appreciate them.
As an individual, how did teachers impact your life?
My mother was a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher, my great-grandfather was a teacher. So I come from a family of teachers and we talk education. So for me, it's my life. Teaching is just my life.
Some of the educations being discussed here, education, technology, and the education of refugees. How do these impact on South African education? Or maybe what are the societal issues that have an impact on South African education?
No, we have, and I can really say I'm very proud of our country, that even with all the challenges that we have, our own challenges of getting our systems right, our refugees get free access to our schools, they're treated fully, they get everything we want. It has its own challenges. It really strains the system because the budgets that we get from government are meant for South African kids, and then we have an extra mouths to feed. But I think as a signatory of the UN, but also just in terms of the nature of the ANC government, we treat refugee children like South African children, give them all the rights that our children enjoy.
The founder of this initiative, Vika Sporter, in opening the event, says that no education system can outperform the quality of its teachers. Do you agree?
No, that's what also the McKinsey report would say, that any system, you must measure the efficacy or the effectiveness of the effectiveness of the system through its teachers. There's no system that can be better than its teachers. And it's a known fact in the education arena, and that's what also guides our relationship towards teacher development, teacher empowerment, and teacher support, because we know they carry the system.
South Africa's education system is sometimes pointed out to be of a lower standard, creating unemployment and perpetuating poverty. Yet here we are in Dubai. South African teachers are said to be excelling here in the UK and elsewhere. Why is this not reflected back home?
No, it's the narrative of South Africans. I think it's right for them to aim for the skies and complain about everything. I mean, South Africans will complain about non-delivery of government. Once they're in an RDP house, they get a free education, they get free grant, they will say there's no delivery. So it's the narrative of South Africans. All we know ourselves, and the majority of South Africans, not the egoistic minority, the majority, know the government is doing its best and we are on an upward trend and are doing relatively well. We're not the best system, but we really are a system on an upward trend that is doing the best for its children.
So some of the issues that are going to be discussed here and at the 2019 GESF is global issues and maybe American issues such as gun control in the US and Brexit in the UK. What societal issues in South Africa are uppermost for teachers?
Now, what do I hear mainly as a South African delegation as part, what motivates it, because everybody has got their agenda, because they bring their own baggage here. Our baggage is quality and efficiency in our system. So with the delegation that is here is to look at mainly what works and what is new in the development, especially in the area of ICTs, because that's an area we're intending to move in, to go into big time. So that's our interest. Every country will have its own agenda, but we have our own agenda, and our agenda really is to drive our ICT program in pursuance of driving the quality and the efficiency part of our system.
That ICT program you're talking about, we've seen, for instance, the MEC for Education in Gauteng, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, rolling out computers, launching IT smart schools. How is that working? Have you been able to measure in terms of returns and if it's making an impact?
No, we're assessing the system on an ongoing basis so that when we massify the system, we've learned what the difficulties, what the challenges are. So we're using Gauteng, the Western Cape, Eastern Cape and Free State as, in a sense, pilots so that we can understand what the challenges are in terms of your change management, your integration, and with them, making sure that we model the system. So we're monitoring, we're working with them, we're learning from them, and we're modifying with them. So we're keeping a very close eye because we do want to roll it out nationally.
There's about 40 education ministers in attendance here. Have you been able to have conversations with them? And can you take us into those?
No, we've just arrived. We're on election, so we only arrived late yesterday. So it's only the opening, so I've not interacted with anybody, and I'll be going out immediately because I have to go back home.
Minister of Education, thank you so much for talking to us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Desiree Motshekga is the Minister of Education back home in South Africa. Like I said, about 40 education ministers from all over the world attending this year's Global Education and Skills Forum, where we're coming from at the Atlantis in Dubai. We'll continue to have ongoing conversations with some of the other attendants, and we'll bring those to you as soon as they happen.